All right, so advancing on, Juha Rintanen back in the mix, and he is in the top 16. So again, Alex Hilbrun advancing. You saw his bye run, and Juha Rintanen advances on. Here's another bye run. Now this is James Deane. He not only had a 91, but he backed it up with a 96. James Deane is the truth right now from Ireland. A lot of eyeballs on him from across the globe. That 2JZ powered Woodhouse Drift Team S15. James Deane advances on to the top 16. James Deane, Mike Essa. James Deane hasn't seen FD competition in a minute. All right, James Deane, Michael Essa. James Deane, your number 2 qualifier in the 2JZ powered Woodhouse Drift Team S15. Michael Essa. Ready to throw down. Here we go. This should be a fun one to watch. Essa looking really smooth, not as violent, driving as we've seen before from Michael Essa. Looking very smooth. And as is James Deane. I mean, he's really making a lot of noise here. Here we go. James Deane, Michael Essa. And James Deane advanced on through the former FormulaD champion of Essa. Transitioning. Oh my goodness. Tapping the wall. You see him make a correction, but he steps back out, stays in it. Now transitions into that final front clip, and Essa wraps it around. He loops it. Michael Essa loops it around that final front clip, and that will be advantage James Deane.
Well, seeing some real excitement here as James, again, continuing to impress, really deep into that touch and go, smooth transition over. Now he loses a little bit of angle by touching that first outer zone, but he gets back into the second outer zone. Now Essa here surges forward. He's got angle in the car, but he can't hold it all the way around. Is that what happened to Michael Essa there in that last turn, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a gorgeous run from Deane up in the lead, other than the slight straightening after the wall hit. But you could see the level of comfort he has in his car on this track, even though he hasn't been here in years. So Essa, in this case, when he's leading right now, he's going to have to hope for a mistake from Deane in the chase position to have any chance of moving forward. Now, if Deane just puts together a decent chase run, it's going to be really hard for Essa now to move forward. So I bet he's hoping for a mistake from Deane in the chase.
I mean, there's a lot of expectations from James Deane, but man, if he comes out just swinging and he podiums on his first, re-entry back into FormulaD Drift, it's really gonna shake things up, and it just speaks volume of his talent.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we'll see here how he can do in his very first chase of the afternoon, being that he had his bye in run number 1, or excuse me, the top 32.
All right, so Essa will now lead. James Deane will give chase.
So we've seen a great qualifying run from Deane, two great qualifying runs. We've seen a great lead run here. Now this is his first opportunity to chase. What do you expect out of him here?
I think he's going to really shine right now. I mean, Essa, he's seen Essa drive before. I know that Peter and James were doing a lot of recce missions last year, meaning they were coming to the events and watching, spectating, so they know how Michael Essa can drive. So I think he's really going to push hard. He's going to be on his door.
You think you're going to get a 100% here because of Essa spinning out, or you think you're going to get a little bit of calculation?
I think he's going to push. I think he's going to go probably 75%. I think he wants to know the limits of his car and his chasing ability, but also play it safe and strategically, where you don't need to really just overcook it and spin himself. But I'm looking forward to, because if James Deane wins, the winner of this will do battle against Forsberg or Gucci, so that should be fun. So here we go, Michael Essa, James Deane. Michael Essa knows he needs to let it all hang out. He's doing just that. So there it is, James Deane giving himself a little bit of room. Pretty calculated there. Everybody shoving that out. It looks like that will be enough for James Deane unofficially to move on. Make it official momentarily as we take a look at it again. Essa, I mean, that was a great run, but unfortunately, because of his mistake in his chase run, that's going to be all she wrote.
Well, another very smoky run, a la Kristaps loose, and you can see just the Achilles, massive amounts of smoke. Essa known for his smoke shows. Big throttle here. You can see Deane keeping him within proximity here, but Ryan, as you know, this is pretty easy to follow here. Unless James Deane were to make an equal mistake as Michael Essa, he should be getting the win here in the top 16.
Yeah, exactly. You could tell how intense Essa was on that run just by the amount of smoke that's on the track. We could barely see anything, but you summed it up perfectly.
And here we go, Essa and Deane. Slide him left for Essa, right for Deane, and it's unanimous. James Deane gets the victory. James Deane gets the victory and advances on. So James Deane, Chris Forsberg. James Deane qualified second, so he will be leading in front of qualifying 7th is Chris Forsberg, defending champion in that NOS Energing 370Z. You guys have not seen competition together against each other, even in previous years. And again, Chris warming up his hand-cooked tires. See James Deane patiently waiting on the start line. .2JZ S15. That's what Deane is piloting, this Wordhouse drifting team. Peter Vincek, his teammate, up here watching on, as he has already been knocked down, unfortunately, but he's cheering him on. Can James Deane take it all the way to the top? He's got to get through a 3-time champion, Chris Forsberg. All right, here we go. Higher power. Get ripped, here we go. James Deane out front, Chris Forsberg giving chase. What's gonna unfold? Here we go, James Deane. All the way out to the outer zone. Wow, wall to wall, James Deane, Chris Forsberg diving in on that Falcon tire, smoke transitioning around that final clip. Make some noise for Deane and Forsberg. Is that what you expected, Ryan?
Well, I mean, James Deane continues to impress. I mean, he has laying down some of the most solid lead runs we've seen, you know, starting all the way back in qualifying and continuing to up the ante. Forsberg, on the other hand, pretty much stuck with him the entire way. Now check this out as you come into this touch and go. Deane's going to get super close here with great angle, very smooth transition. I mean, perfect right there. But look, Forsberg is right with him. Ryan, what's your takeaway here from run number 1 between these two great competitors?
Fantastic lead, fantastic chase. If I'm going to start nitpicking, though, Chris was a little bit off of the outside zone 1 with the back of his car. He was a little bit inside, so that's a little area of opportunity for Deane when he's chasing. Now, it's going to be up to Chris to put together an equivalent lead run or better to keep his chances, you know, alive, if you will, as it will be for Deane to put together as good as of a chase or better to try to avoid a one more time from these two drivers.
All right, so let's see who's going to advance on. Forsberg will now lead. Deane will give chase. The winner of this battle goes into the Final Four. And James Deane, if he makes it into the Final Four, he's guaranteed a podium because 3rd place is decided by qualifying. He's the highest finishing qualifier. So if he makes it into the Final Four, and if he goes through Chris Forsberg, he is guaranteed at minimum 3rd place. Forsberg. Forsberg leading. Deane giving chase. Are we going to have a dominant driver? Are we going to see another one more time like we've seen? James Deane right there on the door. Forsberg all the way out to touch and go. Doesn't go. Oh, shallow on that outside zone. James Deane right on the door of Forsberg. Mirroring him everywhere he goes. Gives him just enough room. Transitions back. James Deane dominated on that chase run.
Well, it's getting pretty exciting around here. That was a really fun battle to watch. You knew it was going to come down to that run after Ryan pretty much had that first run equal, maybe a little bit towards favor of Deane. But look at Deane right here. It initiates already right next to Forsberg. Now, Forsberg doesn't really get out to that touch and go or the first outer zone. And Deane is just sticking with him. Now, right here, Ryan, Deane falls back a second. He almost surges forward past Chris, falls back for a second, but then tucks right back in. Interpret that little last section of the course for us.
So it looked like there may have been contact on initiation. It looked like Deane got right inside, and maybe the back of his car hit the back of Deane's car, or Forsberg's car, right at initiation. I don't know if that had anything to do with Chris missing the touch and go slightly, but near the end of the course. So here we go as we're taking another look of the initiation. Watch the back of Deane's car and watch Chris's car right there. It looked like Chris went to a little bit more angle quite suddenly, so there might have been a little tap right there. Didn't affect either of them too much, it looks like. Right here, though, it looks like Chris may have made some sort of little mistake right there that caused Deane to have to really back off. We're going to have to check that out a little bit closer.
Yeah, but look how quickly he caught up to him. I mean, that was a great execution there by James Deane. So contact seen there by Lantain. And did it, we've talked about this, is it impact or is it kind of race incident? Like, basically the different scenarios of collision or, impeding.
Well, basically, in drifting in general, we accept the fact that cars are going to touch each other. And if they touch each other to a point to where the action stops, we call that a collision. Or if a vehicle is pushed offline, we call that a collision. If there's contact and nothing happens, the judges will judge it as they see it. Oftentimes, you may have some damage to a vehicle that needs to be addressed after the fact, and if that happens, we've got provisions in the rule book to address that. But in this particular case, I think that the run will be judged as is, based on what the judges saw on course.
All right. And the judges are taking a look. Remember, we don't have anybody in the Final Four. We have the two one more times, and the fans wanted them, but Deane and Odie. All right, so again, we still have one more times, the two one more time battles of Osbo and Hilbrun, and Deane Kearney and Odie Bakshi's, and then also Ryan Turk and Matt Kaufman have yet to go against each other. So here we go. Can James Deane defeat the three-time defending FD champion Chris Forsberg? Here we go. Slide him right for James Deane, and James Deane gets the victory unanimously. James Deane advances on. He's in the Final Four, and again, he is guaranteed a podium. We do not have a third-place battle. That is decided with basically the losers bracket. It's decided by the highest qualifying driver, and James Deane he qualified number 2 with Vaughn Gittin Jr. out. He qualified number 1. So at minimum, James Deane will be third place. Because if James Deane wins, Ryan Turk gets third place. If Ryan Turk wins, James Deane gets third place. So on the other side of the bracket, you'll have Odie Bakshi's and Alex Hilbrun. They qualified 5th and 8th. So now, yeah, Alex Hilbrun qualified 5th and Odie Bakshi's qualified 8th. So here we go. James Deane initiates into, whoa. Look at that smoke coming up the back there. James Deane, Ryan Turk. Filling that rear clipping zone is James Deane. Into the second one, transitioning through. Here comes Ryan Turk. Chasing him down all the way around that final clip. Makes the noise for James Deane and Ryan Turk.
Well, it definitely seems like it's going to take something really special to curb the momentum that James Deane has right now. These lead runs that he's been doing have been so consistent. I mean, it's basically the same thing every time. Deep on the touch and go. Deep into outer zone 1. Now, Ryan Turk, on the other hand, is sticking with him here. Both guys leave outer zone 2. Right there, Turk, almost a little understeer there. It looked like in the shadows, but able to close the door there towards the end. Ryan, what's your take?
The only issue I saw in the chase from Turk was between outside zone 2 and inside clip 1. It looked like he had lower angle, and on his transition, it was a little bit slow, and he might have kind of paused that little angle there as he transitioned. But other than that, super clean run from James in the lead position. Turk did a good job up until that point in the chase. So Deane does have an opportunity where if he doesn't make any mistakes in the chase, he could potentially win the chase-to-chase comparison, and Turk's going to have to put together a really good lead run to match what James just did.
All right, here we are on the other side of this battle. Send it, make some noise, Long Beach, here we go. Who's going to the finals? Turk or Deane? Ryan Turk coming to play, dipping into that touch and go. James Deane right there, cannot be shaken. James Deane, that Wordhouse Drift team from Ireland, isn't gonna take it to the top. And look at James Deane all over Ryan Turk. James the Truth Deane. He is on fire right now.
Definitely coming across the pond and killing the game here today is James Deane. Same initiation in the chase position we've seen him do. Ryan Turk in the lead. Doesn't really get out to the touch and go there, so I think that the lead run is going to be a factor after what Lantain said. Turk might have done a better job right there on the outer zone number 2, but then right here, Deane closes the door. So Ryan, your final thoughts here on run 1 and run 2 from these two guys in the final 4.
Turk definitely was not as close on the touch and go. It wasn't as close on outside zone 1. He was as close or closer on outside zone 2, but Deane all the way through was like his shadow. If you watch the transition points, the line, the angle, everything was identical. So I'd say James definitely has an advantage in the chase position.
So again, the winner advancing to the finals. Here we go. Who's going to the finals? And it's James Deane is going to the finals. All right, so James Deane jumped the light. James Deane jumping the light there off the start. Need to wait till the lights extinguish. All right, here we go. Long Beach, let them hear ya. Make some noise. The finals are set. They can hear you just down the chute. And we are ready to send it. Long Beach, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Streets of Long Beach, James Deane, Alex Hilbrun. The finals are here. Who's going to get the victory? James Deane gets out and touch and go. Hilbrun right there, transitioning into that rear clipping zone. Looks like Hilbrun comes off with that rear clip a little early. James Deane filling all of them. Absolutely well done, flawless. Alex Hilbrun was front row in a clinic put on by that Irish surgeon.
Well, once again, we see James Deane go back to what he has been doing all weekend long, and especially here today in the lead position, and that is throw down a near perfect lead run. You can see right to the touch and go, right to outer zone 1. Now Alex is going to come off a little bit early here. Now Ryan, as we leave outer zone 2, you can see Deane was right there in outer zone 2 and then wrapping back around. So he sets a very high bar for his lead run.
Yeah.
James Deane is essentially running the same run over and over again in the lead, and that's exactly what you need to get to this point in a competition. You need to run really close to all the walls. You have to be very consistent from start to finish, and that's what he's doing right now. He's not really making any mistakes in the lead position, getting really close to the touch and go, outside zone 1, all the way through the course with no corrections, no bobbles or anything. On the chase side, Hilbrun did a pretty good job, really close. He was a little bit lower. He had a little bit lower line from outside zone 1 through outside zone 2, but really did a great job in the chase position. So Hilbrun now has to put together, something equivalent or better than what Deane did in his first lead run. And now Deane's going to have to try to mimic as best as he can, stay really close, and not make any errors in the chase.
It really seemed like, Alex Hilbrun, he could chase down James Deane aggressively because he's seen, like you said, that's what makes it good going against somebody that is as strong and solid and consistent as James Deane. Hilbrun could just follow because he's just textbook. He's just reproducing it.
Exactly. And when you have that clean lead to follow, it's a lot easier as a chase driver to know you can trust that lead. And I must say that Hilbrun really learned his lesson from earlier where he was kind of making that transition under the bridge not so wide. Now he's getting right out there and doing a good job. So he's really cleaned up his driving in that area.
Here we go, Long Beach and Formula Drift fans around the world. Who's going to get the victory? Send it! James Deane, Alex Hilbrun. The streets of Long Beach are on fire. And here we go, Hilbrun out front. James Deane on the door of Hilbrun, the BMW. Hilbrun gets all around the touch, go wall to wall for Hilbrun. James Deane cannot be shaken. Is James Deane going to take it back to the top here on U.S. soil? Wheel to wheel, door to door, till the end. Make some noise, Long Beach! Ryan, do we have a victor? And who do you think it is?
Well, this is the first time we've seen at least some difference from James in the latter part of the course here. Now, great job by Hilbrun. Very, very deep into the touch and go. Perfect job on that first outer zone. And look at this on the second outer zone right there. He's a little bit late but he gets very deep. Now watch this right here. Deane tucks up on the inside. Hilbrun's a little bit deep on that inside clip, and you can see Deane was anticipating he was going to be a little bit tighter there, potentially. As we take a look at it again, Ryan, walk us through this second half of the run.
Hilbrun did exactly what he needed to do. He threw down a fantastic run. He might have just kind of bobbled the angle right there, but angle to angle, big transition, really, really wide, a little bit late on outside zone 2. And Deane here dives in really, really aggressively. He might have hit front wheel to front wheel in that area, which may have caused Hilbrun to kind of take some angle out of the car. It might have knocked the wheel out of his hand a little bit. But right here, great commitment from Hilbrun in the lead position.
Yeah, Hilbrun had a phenomenal run. I mean, if he would have had, I think, a better chase run, I could potentially see this going one more time. But you know, unfortunately, I think Hilbrun, I have to think that's it. But we'll bring him down here on the track. We'll bring the drivers on the track. We'll find out. Again, Ryan Turk guaranteed third. You saw Hilbrun and Deane do battle. We'll bring them out on track, and then the podium ceremony just behind the judges' stand, unless there is a one more time. And don't count it out. Hey, did you guys have fun today, Long Beach? Make some noise. They're chanting one more time here in the building. Who's coming to Irwindale now? Taking a look at it once again, and you know, Ryan, you have to take into consideration that contact as well. That can't just be ignored. Did that affect Hilbrun? It looked like Deane hit Hilbrun there. Look at that. I mean, he is on that wall.
Hilbrun was a little bit long in that second outer zone, and right there you can see he's not tight on the inside clip. Yeah. Deane follows him, makes some contact, so there could have been equal fault there. But it was sort of the latter part of the course, and it didn't seem to affect either driver too much. It's just really going to come down to looking at those both of those runs from either driver, taking a look at the replays we have, and then figuring out whether or not they've got a unanimous vote.
All right, so we'll see if we have a victor. All right, showing it again here.
Well, what we're looking at right now is Hilbrun's line coming around inside clip 1. We want to make sure that he was going to be in the right spot, that he was going to be going wide out to the finish line before James ended up coming in contact with him. So as we see right here, he did miss that inside clip quite a bit, and it looked like he was going to be on the inside of that corner as opposed to going out wide at the finish line, and that's really what we're looking at to assess fault for the contact.
All right, you can see the fans sticking around to find out, do we have a winner? And we do have a winner. They are not going one more time. We do have a winner. And we'll bring the vehicles right here onto the track. We'll bring them here on the track. Of course. Make some noise for all the drivers, all the competitors here at the streets of Long Beach. All right, our drivers are down here on the track. Again, did you guys have fun today, Long Beach? Make some noise as they step outside of their vehicle, Alex Hilbrun. And make some noise for James Deane. Let them gather their bearings, gather thoughts, congratulatory high five and a handshake. All right, so now again, Ryan Turk gets third place. And your winner here at O'Reilly Auto Parts, Streets of Long Beach, round 1 of the 14th season of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship, presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. It was Peru versus Ireland. Alex Hilbrun has seen the podium, but he's never won. James Deane has seen FormulaD competition, and he's back here on U.S. soil to clutch kick and take some names. And your winner here on the streets of Long Beach, from Ireland, James Deane in the Warthouse Falcon Tires Sylvia S15 takes it to the top in a near perfect performance. James Deane is your victor, re-entering Formula Drift competition.
Let's go.
As Peter and Deane Carney congratulate him. And second place in the Nitto Tires Monster BMW, make some noise for Alex Hilbrun. James Deane, Alex Hilbrun, Ryan Turk, truly an international podium. So much work, and we got so many words. Lorette Nickel talking to James Deane, and we're gonna get one more interview with Lorette Nickel. Lorette, you're down there with our winner as Peter looks like he's giving a hug and a kiss. So if we could, throw it down to you, Lorette, who's with our winner.
You guys, congratulations. You are getting so many congratulations from your teammate, Peter. James Deane, from 2010 to 2017, it's been over 7 years in the making for you to get to this moment. How brave did you have to be today?
Beyond my limits. Oh my God, I honestly have no words. That is by far the best feeling I've ever had in my life. Just want to say huge thanks to everyone who made it possible, because I wouldn't be here without any of those guys. And I'd definitely like to dedicate this win to Lucas from Warthouse, who sadly passed away last week before our event. So it's been a tough weekend in so many ways, but definitely this win is for Lucas.
Wow, when you have such a day like this, how does the dream match up to the reality?
Far better. I never had dreams like this. This is insane. I have no words.
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette, and congratulations, James Deane, Alex Hilbrun, and Ryan Turk. Join us. We're going to step down here. We're going to give out some trophies, pop some champagne, and celebrate. We have a points leader, and it's James Deane after round one. So stay tuned as we have the trophy ceremonies again. Join us over here if you're in the building.